yard to the field. Are you kidding me? And an incredible catch. You are kidding me.
Oh my God!
One of the plays of the year.
Welcome to day 3 of Canadian Ultimate Masters Championships here in beautiful Ottawa, Canada. My name is Kimberly Morin-Coulombe, and I am joined by
Devon Asamoah. And I just have to say, Kim, this is our first time commenting this weekend, but I've been looking forward to it since the schedule was announced. I know you are very familiar with these two teams here. These are your girls. Tell us about how they got here.
Yes. So I do have to admit my impartiality. I have some on both sides, to be fair. This is my third year. It would have been my third year if I wasn't a million weeks pregnant. Playing on Stello. Started playing with them in 2022. Played with them for 3 years now. And so was there in the exciting of 2023 when we won the CUCM in Kelowna. Last year, we chose to go to USAUs, try something different, try and win the American Series, which we did.
Show the American girlies what's up.
Exactly. Did our thing over there in Denver. And then this year, back to earn our bid for Worlds, back to proving what we can do here on Canadian soil. But all that to say, I have played Iris for 4 years, and to say that my heart is torn doesn't begin to describe it right now. I'd say 2/3 of the women on Sash I've played with over the course of my Frisbee career. So do not doubt, people at home. If there's shout outs to be made, if there's praise to be given, it will be given.
And also, you're going to keep them honest too, right?
Big fact.
One thing Kim's not going to do is sugarcoat some things. Okay, yeah. So for the viewers at home, essentially both of these two teams ran through their earlier pools untested. However, Sash got a couple big tests. One in their power pool matchup. They went 13-9 against Spiced out of the KW region, Kitchener-Waterloo in Southern Ontario. And then just before this in their semifinal, Sauer had a great game against them, pushing them to 12-10. And I watched the end of that game. Sauer had a couple chances to break at the end to maybe push Universe, but again, that experience and depth on Sash really showing out. Stello, on the other hand, opposite story. I think their closest game has been 15-8 by Sauer as well. So, Kim, what side would you rather be on here? Would you rather have been battle tested on the way or kind of getting smooth games where you can feel more rested?
That's an interesting question because I do think that there is a reality with what it feels like when you have earned every single point, have earned a gritty game where you weren't sure if you were going to come for it. In this situation, Stello really has to prove themselves in one time in this one game versus Sash have had to come from behind. Devon just mentioned the win against Spiced, and for the viewers at home, if you weren't around this weekend or weren't around that game, Sash was actually down 6-1. Yep. So it's the amount of work that had to go into clawing back every single one of those breaks to get back with a win. They have really been through it. They've had to test themselves and really bring themselves back from a tough start to a game. It's a really tough choice at this point. I would prefer being in the Stello situation. Seems a little bit easier, but Sash is ready to go.
Yeah, especially in the Masters Division on your third day. Maybe I think this is their 7th game of the tournament. Yeah. Wouldn't mind a few less points under the legs. Another difference between this team, Saj is very well coached, having 3 coaches. Shout out Shauna Howard, JP Riopel, and Chuck Cantone. And Stella's been coachless for a little bit, haven't you all?
We're winging it. It's whoever's pregnant. Honestly, at the time, 2023, we were coached by Vernie. Last year, I don't remember if we even had a coach. I was a captain, but we just shared the responsibilities as captain. And this year, Alicia Zhao is coaching in a sense. So yeah, we wing it. We try and get a coach every year. I don't know if it's because we're too tough and moody. Are we?
Have you intimidated too much of the Ottawa community?
have we won too much that nobody wants to get involved? They don't want to bring us our. It's funny because the captains of Stello always say that we have never lost, or we've only lost once internationally, and that was at Worlds in Ireland in 2022. And so I don't think a coach wants to take it on. They
Yeah,
don't want to
it's
get
a
involved.
lot of pressure. They don't want to stop the challenge, but to the game, we're very excited. It looks like this is a Stello T line. We know Sam Green's going to come out with a big pull to start. That girl does not play around. But a lot of these teammates on Team Canada, very familiar with each other. We have a few people who, not a few, a lot of people who went to California last year in the Masters Women's Division, and a few people who will be playing together on the beach in Portugal this fall. So we'll give those shout outs throughout the game, but now let's get going. What's Stello known for on defense?
I will stop this just to make sure that we acknowledge that we are on the land. Let's start here in Ottawa. We definitely want to acknowledge that. Also acknowledge the weather conditions that we're dealing with right now. Words cannot describe how utterly humid it is right now. These players have had to contend with 33 degrees on Friday,
feels like.
36, 34 yesterday. Right now it's clocking in at 37. So the heat has really come in. We would also like to thank our sponsors, Be Ultimate, Discraft, Podium Audio, and Ottawa Tourism. So gone out here. Sash is on offense. Arsenault with the disc to Pilon. Pilon to TP. Oh, great catch by Beaulieu here. And completely uncovered Melroy. Now that's something that I don't want to see. Melroy uncovered in an end zone?
Yeah, that's exactly what the Saj line drew up. Just getting a wide open deep cut there. It just looked like no one picked her up at the start.
Which is crazy. Melroy, player off of Team Canada Masters Women last year, played in California. I think she was one of the leader in the stats as well. She's definitely a huge threat on the field. So, Stello, just a slight hiccup here. Just have to get our minds right, make sure that we pick up who we need to pick up, and make that not be Melroy.
Yeah, it's definitely. I'm sure they're gonna go in, talk about it, and say, "Hey, we got to get everyone covered." Now Stello on attack now. Some usual suspects on this O line, right, Kim?
Oh yes, we see our heavy hitter Jessie Brown, a leader in the stats for Stello, plays a huge part on the Stello O line. She is joined by fellow Atlanticers. She's from Moncton, but she has some Halifax girlies that they play incredibly well together. Adria Quigley and Steph Graves, a new addition this year to the Stello roster, has been proving herself on and off the court. She's another leader in the stats.
You gotta love the
8 assists and 7 goals.
You gotta love the freshly aged in Masters player, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes your rookies are making the biggest impact.
Exactly. Dunbar centers to Brown. Seems like we were going off a split stack. If it's Liza Hogle on the line. Hogle looking to dump it back to Brown. Wings it to Dunbar. Nice IO to Steph Graves. Back to Dunbar.
Stello doing a great job of giving each other space to cut into on this field.
Great little change of direction here by Hartley. And that zippy IO from Dunbar to get it to Brown really opens up the field, allowing Jessie to throw a nice break backhand to her buddy connection, Adria Quigley.
Yeah, one thing to note there, you mentioned they did start in that split stack, but they kept on the sideline throughout, giving them space to cut through in the middle.
The IOs from Mel Dunbar seem to have really opened up the field in a lot of these situations. There was some dumping, but it really was crucial in this point to make sure that they kept climbing the field. We see a tiny bit of wind for those at home who can't really sense it like we can. It appears to go from the right side of your screen to the left side. You can see the flags in the back of your screen going. It doesn't feel like this wind is something that they have to contend with at this point, but if it's anything like it was this weekend, it was really up and down.
Amazing. 2 clean holds to start. You love to see clean execution here in the final. Both teams trying to play their best, and they've peaked all season for this. We know Sash prepared going to Frisbee Fest and Fishbowl, where they actually played Stello, getting a 12-10 win over there. And Stello testing themselves at Fishbowl. Did they go to regionals? No.
Stello did not go to regionals.
So they
won
went to
no borders.
So good preparation from both sides. Let's do the first turn of the game here.
Characteristic drop here from Mel Roy. Definitely not something we see from her very often. MC coming in. Stello with the first break of the game.
That was a big backhand hook from Birch to Jacques.
Birch, a native Toronto player. She's played in the Sixers. She's played Union, I believe. She's definitely hailing from a different part of the province from us. And a rookie this year, but definitely proving herself and doing a great job here so far for Stello. Both of these rosters, when I spoke to the captains of Sash and knowing a bit of the background from Stello, this is the first tournament of the year where both of these teams have the entire squad present. Oh my God. The Sash teammates love each other on the field. Look at that female chemistry.
Yeah, you mentioned it's tough when you have some out-of-region players, some people coming from the East Coast. I know Sash are pretty spread out around the entire province of Quebec, just committing to weekly pod practices and 1 monthly practice together, and also, of course, tournaments, right?
Exactly. So they contend with some Sherbrooke, Montreal, Quebec folks. And so there's people spread out all over. It's tough to get everybody in one location very often. And also, a reality of the Masters division is I can't even begin to count how many kids been mothered by the women on this field. And so there's a lot of realities that come with having a family like that. Sassy Boisvert gets the disc off. C'est la Berge. Travel call on Poirier.
Yeah, and you see that kind of roly-poly hand signal here to signal that the pivot foot might have slipped.
We love seeing players use their hand signals. Makes our job so much more easier. Sassy Boisvert looking upfield. That trusty backhand that she has pops in the wind, but it is held onto. I thought. La Berge to Roberge. We're having a backhand force here. Wallet looking off Roberge. And that is saved by Poirier. And a high release backhand to Robert. I'm so used to knowing these people by their nicknames. I have to keep looking at their last name. I was about to say Shushat, and everybody like, who is that?
No, you saw the Sash teammates having each other's back. A couple garbage collectors, we might say, where the original target didn't get hit, but someone was right there to pick it up.
So what you might see here is, so we're first talked about the wind, but weeks ago?
Yeah.
We were talking about right to the left side of your screen, and now if you look at the flags, it's basically coming from our back, so from the bottom to the top of your screen. So I think a little bit of what we just saw here on the Sage offense is that they have to contend with where the wind keeps shifting. And these are players that have an incredible wealth of knowledge when it comes to throwing. It's not something that's necessarily normal for them to have throws that pop that often. So I'm thinking this is just a couple jitters off the changing wind directions.
Yeah, and so 2-2 here. Still no breaks. Are you surprised by that?
One break.
Sorry, one break by Stello. No breaks from. Run one down right now.
Hartley centers to Brown. I love it. Jessie Brown is she's an audible quarterback. She tells you where she's going. She tells you who it's for. Viewers at home can't probably hear her, but we can hear her here in the booth. Stello stack here, looking a bit deep for any of the handlers to be able to throw to. Lukenda with a great grab. Hogel looking upfield and flicks to a dish. Gets it to Dunbar. Hogel. Great cross-field throw here by Hogel to Graves, and then she punches it in to Jessie Brown. That's 3-2 Stello.
Yeah, an amazing discipline there. You mentioned at the start. Stack was a little deep. They adjusted, getting some open unders, calling for the disc. They even reversed the field there, break after break after break. Very disciplined team, Stello is.
We got them into good shape, you know. We told them. The reality of Stello this year is you might, for those viewers at home who have some of your loved ones here on the screen, there is a reality that we had this year is a lot of handlers are pregnant this year. So I think we came in with potentially 4 handlers on the roster. And so if you see in this last point, Adria Quigley, who's not someone who tends to be in a handler spot. We love her upfield. She's so quick and effective. We see her more in a handling position here. This is something that you'll see over the course of the game from Stello. People have had to really pivot in their roles over the course of the season, put themselves in situations that they feel a little bit unsure. But curious to see how it rolls out. So far, it seems to be going pretty well.
Yeah, and notably, Kim, you've been manning the backfield of Stello yourself, so you definitely know a bit or two about handling there.
I think one or two things.
And an offside call. Do you see the observer signaling with the cross over their head? Just meaning that maybe 1 or 2 of the Stello players ran over the line before the disc was pulled. So on the first offside, Strovsky Boisvert is going to bring it to the brick mark and fight against the Stello zone.
Sash seems very unbothered by this zone, having no problem throwing very effectively through it. Seems to get it through the zone. Cool to Boisvert, to Wallet, to Rabelge. Definitely a great 4-person handler corps that are doing a great job here. Bit of some double teaming from the Stello perspective on the zone.
But this is a big mark they're having to contend to, you know. Sam Green's no slouch there.
That's true. Ing, so close to getting that D. We love the effort. Cool once again keeps the disc alive. The Belge as well. Sash having to work incredibly hard, but doing so effectively. Baudette with a disc. De Brou-le-Duc. A bit of discussion. Not sure what the call was exactly.
There was a pick called in the stack, and Saj was trying to make a case that the dish should stay there and the player should catch up. But you know how those discussions go.
Spirit of the game is definitely an important part of how we play Ultimate and the way we like to value our game. And that is by having composed discussions about calls such as this one on the field. We love to see people shaking it out after, making sure that we appreciate. Scotty Boisvert drives up the line. And Nico Birch putting in that defensive effort to make sure that that Sage player, Chantigny, really had to work hard. Seemed to have distracted her a little bit in catching. So Stello gets it back. On a chance for a break. Ing with a great cut here. Covered by Wallet. That's a good matchup.
Very two speedy players.
Birch. Sit up. Fortin. Benek. To Green. Crosses the field to Fortin. I would have wanted to see another can break option here. Birch is going to put it slightly too far for Redmond.
The Toronto connection just not working out, eh?
No, Toronto's not connecting today. This is a tough situation. Like, We're 37 degrees right now.
Yeah.
This is turn after turn. You really want these players to be able to get it figured out.
Robert's tracking that disc down.
That was a great catch by Roberge. Saskia Boisvert up the line to Debrou-le-Duc, who dishes it back. Saskia Boisvert still looking upfield, gets it to her Sherbrooke teammate, Baudette. Debrou-le-Duc able to keep it alive, flips it up backhand to Ouellette for the score. 3-3.
Sash, a couple scares there, but they managed to get the D back, get a turnover, and then work it cleanly up the field. 3-3, down one break. Kim, put on your coaching lens. How happy are you with this first 6 points of the game for both teams?
They're doing well. I would like to see a little bit more consistency, I think, from the Sash. I don't even want to call it offensive line, because when I spoke to Capitaine Marianne Pilon, she had mentioned that a difference in the two structures of the team. So Stello is an O-line, D-line team. So we tend to have one O-line and a bigger D-line. The way that Sash functions this year, I think it's a bit different from what they have done in the past, is that they're working with an upwind, downwind system. So you don't necessarily have an offensive or a defensive unit. You have people that have to be generalists. And that is sometimes I don't say gripe, but something that you have to contend with, is that not every player excels in an offensive system only or in a defensive system. It's really tough to be all of the things, to be a great defender and to be good on offense
Within the same match. Yeah, a couple.
if you have to only throw in one direction on a windy day. I agree. Does the wind in this game really affect to a point where you need to have that system? It's interesting to analyze the difference.
And that's a conversation you have to have with your teammates, because, like you said, not every player wants to be an offensive player. Not every player wants to only be a D-line player, versus like a team like Stello, where you kind of do pigeonhole people for certain roles.
Yes. We have Graves on the line here with a lefty backhand. And Dunbar will put it to Carly Muntz. Is she going to be there? And that is going to be called inbounds. That is a goal, Stello. Dunbar will never hesitate. That is one thing with Mel. She will put it.
She's never seen a deep strike that she didn't like.
Exactly.
But Muntz, another out-of-region player, making an impact on this final, right?
Yeah. There's a Thunder Bay girly. Thunder Bay. North Bay? One of the bays.
A bay? I know she did play with Crash, so she has some experience playing in Kitchener-Waterloo. Don't know where she originates. And now that we've reached 4 with this Stello hold, we have our first heat timeout. So because it's above, I think the threshold is 32 or 30. Or at a certain temperature where they've added heat breaks in. Once the first team hits 4 points, once the first team hits 12 points, and of course we get halftime hopefully at 8. Just allowing the players to go get some shade, grab some water, so they're not just playing back-to-back points.
Exactly. At this point, this is really player safety in mind. We have to make sure to watch out for the people that are working so hard on the field. Athletes are notorious for not always acknowledging where their limits are, so you got to put the limits for them. And I think in this situation, both teams get 2 timeouts per half. Move.
And also acknowledging the support on the sidelines for both teams. We see some prime and elite players supporting their Sage. Friends, partners, teammates.
Yep.
I'm sure long history in Quebec. And the Still boys, just before their final, also supporting. I know you guys affectionately call each other the husband and wives, right?
Yes. There's too many couples to count from both Stello and Still. A lot of babysitting happening here in Ottawa this weekend.
Yeah, just great to have support in general while you play in such a big game for both sides.
So, recap the score. We're talking 4-3 for Stello here. Stello up 1 break. Still plenty of time in the game left to go.
And now talking about win, it's just all tied down. So throws the
Absolutely nothing to do. La Belge with the centering pull to Wallet. Sash here trying to work with more of a horizontal stack. Fortunate drop. So Stello will get a chance at a break. Pick up from dominant handler Sam Green. To Dashnet. Dashnet looks off. Moscow. Dashnet back to Green. To Birch, who catches it inbound.
and the observer called her inbound. She thought it was out, so she did drop the disc. Interesting to see what the observer lets happen, if it's a turn or if the turn.
I thought that Nico motion or Birch motion that she heard her opposing player call out.
And good spirit of the game, we have the Sash player allowing Birch to pick up the disc again, and play resumes.
On the doorstep of the end zone. And a high stall count meant for Birch not having many options upfield, and she chooses to just high release it into the end zone, and it's not completed.
Sash player
No
all
more.
alone here.
Poirier recenters to Wallet, and there's a pick call on the field.
So Poirier opting not to huck it just off the bat, which had no mark there. Do you like the calm and steady decision making after turn?
Yeah, I don't know if she necessarily had an option. So good job on her for holstering. What an effort here. La Belge really trying to put her body on the line to keep it alive. Green back to pick it up.
So another chance to get their second break of this match.
Jog. A forever initiating cutter. Around to Ellis. She gets it to Birch.
Stello stack just clumping a bit as they get
Yeah.
closer to the end zone. Some franticness happens when you're really trying to score and end this point.
And knowing the playbook, it's supposed to be 3 handlers back. There's people missing backfield here. Nico Birch almost with the same issue as before, but Musklau able to save it. And she backhands it to the end zone to a MC Jacques. End zone looking a little chaotic here for Stello, have to say.
But sometimes you have to say whatever works, works. Stello punching in their second break to take a 5-3 lead.
If I
Very
put
exciting stuff.
If I put my Stello hat on, it feels like in this particular situation, sometimes the team struggles with the lack of handling. Because oftentimes when you have, or not all the time, but when you have certain handlers in position who are able to quarterback and give more direction, instructing players, we're missing a handler backfield, I'm going next, more communication would help align and open up the field, give more direction and discipline to that stack. As you mentioned, it was more like clumpy in the front. It's unsure where those cuts are supposed to come from. And so if they were able to have a little bit more communication on the field, I feel like it would help them to.
And I believe this is just Sash calling a timeout here, getting broken twice, wanting to stop the bleeding. But yeah, you make a lot of sense. You know, like you mentioned, Jesse Brown, kind of a O-line general who's going to tell you, cut here, move here, get out. You don't really have that on a D-line with who lacks that identity with
Yes.
handlers.
Very true. It's a tough role to evolve into. I remember as I was growing within the IRIS system, it's something that I found very difficult to do because you're already focusing on your game and having to direct people, give instructions. Coach Allison Fisher, a legend of a coach out of Montreal, I remember she came to me one day and she's like, the girls rely on you to be vocal. You cannot be silent. We can't afford you to be silent, so you have to really push yourself to grow in that regard. And
Yeah.
I remember that really spoke to me. That was something that I wanted to develop in my game to keep working on.
And I believe every sport has a player like that. Setters in volleyball, point guards in basketball, quarterbacks in footballs, where you have to find your voice because, like you said, your teammates need you. They can't always, as a cutter, you're not always thinking about discipline stack. You're thinking about how can I get the disc into my hand?
Yeah.
How can I, set up my cut rather than, okay, maybe I need to chill. And sometimes having a handler let you know, like, hey, get into the middle of the stack.
True. And a big shout out. We shout her out in a previous broadcast, but Corinne Massé off of Sash is someone who is extremely talented at that. If you need guidance on how to do it, watch game tape or go on a field where Corinne is. She's so good at giving directions. It's clear, it's concise, and it's short, and you know what you're supposed to do.
Massey taking her talents to the Masters women's team in California that won gold over the USA.
Beaulieu looks off to recenter to Pilon. Gets it to Tremblay Paradis. Cadovius recenters to TP.
Being a very ferocious handler defender here, not going to give anything up easy.
Stello appearing to be playing very, to forcing their players to go deep. They're playing under other players. And it makes for the cuts from the stack to be a little bit more difficult. And maybe a result of Sash not pushing their deep hucks or their deep looks as much. We haven't seen Sash utilize that part of their offense as much. And so at this point, if I were Stello, that is definitely something that I would agree to be doing right now.
Yeah, it's almost like if a team hasn't shown you they can, force them to.
Exactly. And Sash can do it no problem. So it's just a question of trying one here and there, and I wouldn't be surprised that we see that
Make the defense respect them more.
evolving. Exactly. Call on the field. Disc is with Tremblay Paradis.
All right. Everyone deciding to come in on one now, restarting play. It's a slight miscue there in the Sage backfield, giving Stello another chance for a break.
Green to Fortin. Fortin looking off the backhand break and gives it a shot anyways. Kubinek giving her a little 7 cut to go up.
Beaulieu opting just poach there in the backfield.
Foul call by Fortin. Uncontested by Sash. So it's going to be in Stello's possession. Kubinek forced to throw something a little bit more difficult there. Not many options coming to help her from a handler standpoint.
Yeah, the Sash player, Kate Beaulieu, opting to poach, making it difficult, clogging up that underspace, so she did look deep for Fortin, but Stello getting the disc back.
Cadevius playing great positional D here, having to force Fortin to look for another option. But Stello punches it in for another score. 6-3 Stello. Kate Beaulieu, unfortunately, this one throw is definitely not representative of the role that she's played on the Sash offense so far. She is such an effective handler. She's played with Cole previous years. She has played Team Canada's. She comes in this game with 12 assists, 6 goals. Someone that is such a great Frisbee IQ. Great analytical mind of the game.
And Sage having to do some reshuffling of their lines, really thinking about how they can stop this Stello D-line, because the Stello D-line's been very punishing on any turn, I think only taking max 2 attempts after a turn to get a break in, them being up. That's the cause of them being up 6-3. Sage just needs someone to steady the ship here. You see Wallet taking a break off. Let's see who they look to in the backfield to get them back in the game.
Exactly. This is when we're 2 points away from half. You want to really solidify the offense, and you want the girls to feel confident. And so this is a crucial point to make sure we maintain that composure.
Stello opting for a person defense here.
Rancourt, Scotty Boisvert.
Pick called. Everyone coming back. Coming in on 4 signals Birch.
Scotty Boisvert looking for options. She goes for high release backhand to Rancourt. Rancourt back to Scotty Boisvert. Little handler action here. Laberge looking for options.
Great matchup here with Laberge and Pauloway.
Sash setting up in a vert stack. Plante gets it to Rancourt.
And
And
another
another
pick
pick
here.
call.
What's going on with the Sash stack causing all these collisions? Thankful for our Team Orange observers here to just keep the game moving, not letting any stoppage take too long.
They are
Observe-
running in this heat just like the athletes on the field. So shout out to you guys. Foul called.
Looks like a foul called on Jacques.
Yeah, Jacques from Baudet.
Accepted, uncontested, which means the Sash O-line here will start with the stall count of 1, fresh.
Faking that flick around a bunch of time. Dunbar playing way off her player, trying to prevent that break shot from coming out. And a throw that seems to be an execution. It doesn't appear that she threw where she wanted to throw.
No, Laberge, I don't think she was high in the stall count, but
No.
like you said, probably just a mixed executed look. Stello off very quickly here.
Once again, hawking it deep. She's got Jacques.
What a
One thing
read.
Jacques gonna do is catch it. And Polowick coming with a great grab. Oh, I think Baudet's gonna call a travel on Jacques. So in this situation, I believe Baudet is arguing that Jacques did not have her foot on the line. So when you are called that your catch is not in the end zone, you have to have your pivot foot back on the end zone line. And I think Baudet here is arguing that she did not put her foot appropriately on the end zone line.
And just for the viewers at home, the rules have updated. You don't necessarily have to ground check in that situation. It's just place your pivot foot where it needs to be and then keep the play moving. But
That's your rule capsule of the day.
you know,
That's good to know. Honestly, when the rules change, I feel like people don't always connect into what the updates are. And that's rule to goal. The Stello 7-3.
great sequence of events there. Jacques with the great grab over 2 Saj defenders.
Over 2
And then telling Polowick, you got to work a bit to get this goal. Not too simple.
If you know Lauren, she loves spicing it up.
All right, 7-3, Sash coming together on the field. I don't believe there was a timeout signaled, but it looks like they're going to take a timeout. You see their arms around each other. So yeah, 2 breaks in a row. Definitely something to talk about.
What would you talk about in that circle with Sash?
So in that Saj, I think at other points in the tournament, you talk about, systems and we're building towards something, but this is the finals. You really need to get points on the board right now. So at this point, you're just talking about what you need to execute on, put points on the board, because you can't get breaks if you're starting every point on O.
And it appears that a wide part of the mistakes that are being made from the Sash offense are simply execution. It's not decision making. And I remember being told by my coaches when I was back when I used to play, that when you have mistakes that are execution based, have you drank enough water? Are you well hydrated? And have you eaten something recently? It's quick how you're going to overlook and think, I made a mistake. I made that error on the field, versus thinking, my body needs to be well maintained in this kind of heat. Dehydration would be so quick. Making sure that you have the proper nutrition So hopefully Sash can have little energy packets here and there. Make sure that they fulfill those two things before beating themselves up too much.
Yeah, you make a great point there. Sometimes you just don't have the capacity to make better decisions if, your blood sugar is running low or you're super dehydrated. All those kind of come into this play of nutrition, decision making, and also the physical preparation for such a big final like this.
And having played women's for, 15 years at this point, I have seen more than one woman beat herself up for making a decision when it's a whole host of different things. And sometimes you overlook the fact that it's just you haven't eaten since your bye 2 games ago. And so women are quick to be hard on themselves.
Yeah, and both teams just getting one bye after their semis. And like you mentioned, Sash had a really close game against Sauer. That also plays a factor into this.
For sure. Green with the great pull. Tremblay Paradis, who centers to Beaulieu. Gets it to Lemay. Arsenault back to TP. TP, oh, is going to look off that deep option.
Brown crossing over for this D point.
Jackie, man, doing a pretty good job trying to cover. That's not an easy matchup. I'll give her that.
And just out of the reach of Desil, I mean.
Yeah. So, Brown to pick it up. Oh, we haven't seen her in a while.
No, she's probably getting a little tired.
Brown.
She's probably getting tired of sitting on the sideline.
Yeah. Jackie, man, another very talented player out of Toronto. Kubanek gets it around to Quigley. Quigley gets it to Dagenet. Dagenet to Man. Jessie Brown was just sitting there waiting for it. Meleroy made her pay. She said, "You gotta run to get it."
You know what? You do love a team that's going to get that disc back. And like you said, Meloir's a player to watch out for that.
100%. Lemay with a nice put here. Brown is going to get her bookends if she needs to.
Brown getting the disc right back. She is an O-line general, but she can play some defense.
She begs to play D-line every year. We just don't let her.
All right. Stello setting up in a diagonal vert stack here. I believe that is 6 people in the stack opting for no reset option in the playbook, Kim.
Yep.
Round to Quigley having no options.
You can't stop running for that.
Green with the big put to Ing, but Ing just pulling up just maybe a little misread of the disc.
If you know Sam Green, she is a backhand queen. Tepe looking for options. Tremblay Paradis gets it to Arsenault. There's a call, and the call is retracted. No call. I'm sure the players welcome this slight shade.
Nice breeze also coming in.
Yep.
Flags picking up in the background.
High release to Beaulieu with a nice quick flick off to Delille. Looking to get it off the line here. Beaulieu pretty much going every other. Tremblay Paradis.
Jessie Brown showing her defensive prowess yet again.
She's going to make a highlight reel of herself just to prove she should be on D-line.
Stay tuned for her 2026 tryout form.
And man, completely unmanned. Unfortunate drop here. This, folks, if you haven't experienced these conditions this weekend, never underestimate how humid your hands might be in this particular situation. So if you see players dropping it, they're just under chalked. Nice up line here from Beaulieu. Around to Tremblay Paradis, who gets a nice IO backhand.
And that must feel great for Sash. putting in a hold after a couple breaks in a row, after a couple turns this point, getting them back on the board exactly what they probably wanted coming out of that timeout. I mean, not the execution they wanted out of the timeout, but the goal nonetheless.
Yeah, exactly. And I love every time you see Kate Beaulieu with that kind of energy and celebrating every single time they score. That's a leader on a team. She really hypes the girls up, make sure that I am not backing down anytime soon. So celebrating every point, make sure that people feel engaged, and all the players on the field keep grinding all the way to the end. 7-4 here, Stello. We're 1 point away from half. Stello starting on O. Jesse Brown going to double shift here.
Yeah, and Stello just wants to put in a nice smooth hold. Their O-line hasn't been out for a while. Let's talk about that Brown-Waugh matchup.
Yeah.
Two people who played together on the Team Canada Women's Master Team last year.
Yeah.
How hard is it to play against your teammates that know you inside and out from a national team perspective?
Would be, and keep in mind, Jesse Brown's a handler, but very active handler. So it's not that she doesn't count as a cutter, but she's basically a cutter. The amount of time she runs, how much she runs. And Melroy, more of a cutter situation. So definitely a great matchup to look out for. Massey with a huge pull downfield. Pogel centers to Brown.
Another split stack here from Stello, but a Sash zone to change things up.
Hartley doing great 8 yards here. Gets it through the cup to Graves. Dunbar. Up line to Brown. Covered by Beaulieu, who's also double shifting. Backfield to Dunbar, who looks off the around. Brown to Munt. Back to Dunbar. A bit of double cutting here from Stello offense. It appears people are working hard, but in two places at once. Hartley Dunbar a bit high, but Lukenda is going to come down with it.
That was Goldie putting in a lot of pressure there on Lukenda, but Stello Holt bringing us to halftime 8-4. We are going to take a bit of a break, but stay tuned for some halftime interviews on both sides of the team.
I love working with the team towards a common goal.
For the camaraderie.
Camaraderie and playing with my teammates.
I play for my team.
Teamwork and the connections that I can build on and off field.
For the community and the exercise.
Because of the community and the competition.
I like playing Ultimate Frisbee for the competition.
I play for the competition and the fun.
For fun.
Because fun.
I love getting to work hard.
You get out of it what you put into it.
Leave everything out here.
Every time I step on the field, I want to be a better player.
You know, give something people to talk about.
Be happy but never satisfied. To step away from real life and focus on Frisbee.
I play because I love Ultimate.
Find your drive.
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 All right, we have halftime. We're with Alicia Zhao, affectionately known as Reef. Up 8-4 at half. How's it feeling?
It feels good. I mean, it's every coach's dream when your team takes 8-4. Yeah, we're doing what we need to be doing, and everyone is just playing in this disgusting heat. But we're showing our best
And
out there.
sitting out this season, how is it wrangling this group of Stello girls to even just do upline drills and be as organized in throughout the season?
You know, it comes easy to me. I feel like these people have been my teammates for years, decades. You know, I am pregnant this year, but this is actually Stello's baby because I've spent just so much time with them. So, yeah, it's easy. It's a good job.
And be honest, what's in the drafts in case? Do you have drafts in case you win, in case you lose? Like, what can we look forward to on the reels?
I mean, expect a lot from us. I still have to do a lot of editing tonight, but yeah, there will be a lot of fun to come on the social medias.
All right, thank you so much. You want to say anything to the people back home?
No, just thanks for being a fan and thanks for watching. So go Stello.
Okay, thank you.
Bonjour, Jen.
Hello.
Alors, on voulait faire une petite entrevue pour savoir, là, on rentre dans la deuxième demi.
Yes.
C'est 8-4 pour Stello.
Yes.
Qu'est-ce qu'on va voir de la part de Sash dans la deuxième demi?
On va voir beaucoup de grit. On va voir des filles qui veulent se battre. On va voir le feu dans les yeux. Je pense que c'est là qu'il faut qu'on chaîne plus que tout dans le monde. Fait qu'on va arriver forte.
Qu'est-ce que tu penses vous avez des games que vous avez eu au courant de la fin de semaine qui ont fait en sorte que vous avez dû revenir avec des déficits? Qu'est-ce que ça fait? Comment vous faites pour utiliser ça puis bâtir là-dessus dans la finale?
Je pense que c'est un jeu très mental, mais je pense qu'avec l'athlétisme qu'on a dans nos jambes, c'est vraiment en utilisant nos jambes puis notre force mentale qu'on va utiliser cette résilience-là puis revenir. Moi, j'y crois encore. Là, c'est sûr qu'on s'est donné la job difficile, mettons, mais on est déjà revenu de 3-4 points dans d'autres matchs puis on l'a gagné de beaucoup. Fait que c'est possible, mais ça va être tough game. Yeah.
Exact, excellent. Merci beaucoup, Jen. On vous souhaite bonne chance dans la deuxième demi.
Merci. Bravo, Margot!
Bravo, Margot! Welcome to the second half of this women's final at the Canadian Ultimate Championships Masters Edition, where Stello from Ottawa is going against Sash from Quebec. We are 8-4 coming in at half here. Stello showing quite a bit of confidence and capability in their first half. Sash having a bit of execution errors in their first half, but as we just heard from Jen here from Sash, never discount Sash. They've had quite a few comebacks over the course of this weekend.
Yeah,
we believe.
Definitely ready for much grittier, much closer second half. I'm sure Sash has been in a national final before, whether on this team or whether on different iterations of the group playing together on Iris, and I'm sure they're ready to battle back.
Exactly. You see here on your screen, it is Stello's time to start on O. So Sash will be pulling from the left side of your screen to the right side.
All right, big pull coming up here from La Berge, getting us started. Dunbar centering the disc to Brown after a couple bobbles. Go. Doing it all, laying out to save the point.
What a queen.
And a nice run through D from number 5, Marie-Ève Trudel. Getting this half started for Sage on a high note.
I love that.
So you note this upwind-ish line, Wallet going to pick up the disc.
Nice catch here. Kenda putting on quite the mark. And that seems to work in the end. She has a wing span.
Yeah, just causing the La Berge to have to throw way farther around and then just missing Roberge on that upfield cut.
Exactly. Brown with the disc on the line. Graves. Option, so she decides to punt it to the end zone, but it looks like Graves was blinded or had trouble locating the disc.
Yeah, it was a pretty blady OI flick, a little tough to manage. Graves getting to the spot, doing what she needed to do, but just not reeling it in, closing around the edges.
And definitely a vet call by Brown here to shoot it into the end zone. If you're stall 7-8, not much happening backfield, don't get a turnover where the handlers are. Try and get it to the end zone. At least give it a shot. Roy with a pick call, I believe.
Injury, actually.
Injury.
She landed wincing, and as you can see, limping off the field now.
Definitely a tough loss here. If Sage loses Melroy, she's been playing exceptional, having great matchups. She's definitely been taking one of the toughest matchups on the field this entire game. So
yeah, and a defender that when she plays offense as well, she draws one of the bigger matchups. Exactly. You saw Jessie Brown having to cart her when Sage was on O last half.
Down here coming in for her. Graves on the mark. Toutan looking for a dump. Great catch by Baudette. Back to Toutan. Looks off upfield to get it cross field on a nice flick break.
Chatignier in acres of space there.
A bit of a traffic jam here in the middle of the field. So Sage, not too far away from a potential break. Right out of half. Nabelge gets it slightly up line. Odette, high release backhand to Roberge. Oh, nice save by Baudette. Baudette looking for a jump or help anywhere. Wallet right on the doorstep.
It looks like Quigley calling a stall down there on the mark. You can tell stall down on signified with the padding on the head. It reaches when a player gets to the T of 10, and then they're going to pat their head, signifying that the player took too long to release a disc. I think stall downs are one of the hardest contests in Ultimate, something that usually gets sent back and coming in on stall 8.
Always. If I had to target a percentage, 95. People always, yeah.
And it looks like the observers are treating this as a contest, so coming in at 8.
And at that point, you have to try. You have to just try and get it out of your hands. And when you're constantly agree with the thought of just punting it to the other side, in this situation, if you can give it at least any kind of float, it will help you. It came in a bit direct there. Brown having a tough time getting it off the sideline here. Dunbar once again with those very effective. That's field. A lot of traffic here. Dunbar attempting to push it downfield to Graves. Graves is going to call the foul on Toutain.
Graves signifying that she felt some pressure on her back as she wanted to go up for that disc.
I definitely find that Stello is getting very stuck on the line. If they could find a way to try and get it to the top side of your screen, so the far sideline, it would definitely help give them a little bit more space on the field. Right now, if you're stuck, especially this force, it just makes everything a little bit more clogged.
Yeah, definitely. And you can see the cuts downfield aren't coming as frequent. Maybe some tired legs. It's been a couple turns on this point, and it's very hot. Okay, so observer ruling that it was a foul. They did go to them, and now Steph Graves will get to tap the disc in and bring it to the front of the end zone.
We're seeing an end zone call by Stello. Jacques having to lay out for it. Seems like a quick release by Graves here.
Yeah, that lefty back end just going a little too far for Jacques. And now let's see what the Sash D-line can do here.
That weekend, a wingspan comes back out. Wallet back to Laberge. Laberge and Wallet working together. Dunbar on the mark.
And that's Quigley with the pressure. Maybe a bit too much pressure. The Sash player falling to the ground.
Yeah. It appears to be Baudette. Yeah, Baudette.
And Kim, talk to me about the physicality of both teams. They definitely don't shy away from contact.
No, for sure. A team like Stello has been called out on it multiple times. It's something that we have to work on every year. It's definitely an objective to make sure that we keep it within the realms of acceptable. We continually have to check ourselves and check our teammates, just be like, hey, we need to be careful of this. It's something that we are known for. And so definitely have to be conscious of the role that we play in all of that. So it's an objective to make sure that we stay within the realm of we're in the game, we're in the play, we stay competitive, but not aggressive.
Now a stall having to be worked out here as well. It looks like an injury sub happened.
A lot of calls in one.
A lot of calls. I believe that's
Injury.
Boilieu coming on with the dip after the injury.
Yeah. Well,
And now Wallet and Dunbar discussing this stall down here.
yeah. It is hot out here, folks.
It is hot. And continue on to that physicality. Do you find that there was a Stella type game in the senior division to a Sash Stello level?
I don't think so. I think that I don't know about regions necessarily, but in terms of masters versus seniors, the women be competitive. Women be competitive and they stay competitive. So.
All right, looks like the stall down is going to get contested, which means we're going to come in at stall 8, similar to what you saw happen upfield before the first or the second Sash turn. So while that's going to have to make some quick decisions here.
Contested, stall down, so we're at stall 8 once again here for Sash. Gonna get it to Baudeur.
Gotta love when a nice, easy reset presents themselves.
Yeah, Baudeur, who's appears to be inside of her own end zone, but gets it off.
And a bit of a pile up there. LeBears did have a few players deeper than their Stello defenders, but just floating enough to get 6 people in the same area. And when that happens, good things can't happen.
That's the thing. It's tough to understand what a foul when you have this many people just agglomerated into a set. It's everybody got fouled in a sense, you know, like obviously one person could feel it more, or someone could say I had possession or I stopped rotation, which is a different perspective. But at that point, if the throw causes this much of a pod to have to accumulate and sky people, it's difficult to argue that someone had a definite play on it.
There's a lot of hands waving.
Yeah.
I couldn't get a sense of what was being concluded.
If I had to put money on it, I think it's going back, just because it's impossible to.
And also in these situations, you never know it was friendly fire. It could have been your own teammate in your back.
Exactly.
Kim, how are you in these spirit of the game discussions usually?
I do pretty well. I'm my background is construction engineering. I'm an engineer by nature and by training, and I've spent over 10 years of my career on construction sites. So having to deal with feisty contractors is part of my job. And I equate feisty contractors to feisty opponents. It's just one and the same. How about you?
I like to be a pretty spirited player. My rule of thumb is I'll tell them, hey, I'm not 100% sure what the result is. If you're done, and usually when you have that level of honesty, they're also going to try to make a more honest comment.
That's
You know, a CUC Spirit Champ in my day.
ooh, excusez-moi.
You know, 2018 with Hound, back when they had better spirit. I know the spirit has dropped off in recent years.
They need to bring back Devon. BBD.
Okay, so like you said, treat it as a contest.
Yeah.
The disc is going to go back. It's probably stall 4, I think, with this hand signal. Looking for a reset.
Quigley here trying to do her best to stop Beaulieu, but that's a tough job to do. And I stand corrected.
And Touton just trying to shove it into too small of a space.
Brown to Quigley to Graves. The Atlantic connection here showing some firepower. Graves gets a huge around to Quigley. Stello stack is incredibly far into the
Wallette playing some great reset defense on Dunbar, not allowing her to get the disc.
That was a great effort by Trudel. She was so present against Mann, who is already an incredibly fast player. Graves getting up to get that disc. Dunbar. I knew she was going to throw that. Oh my God, if I could have bet money.
It looks like that's Jacques coming up, holding her wrist. Yeah, it looks like the just exposing the bottom of the disc to the wind here on the downwind side, and it looks like MC Jacques coming off with an injury. Bit of a long point here. And I think we're still in our first point out of half.
Yeah, this has been an incredibly long point for these girls. Munz coming up. I think Lukenda also took an injury sub here.
And bringing Fortin back.
Coming out as well. Munz coming out. And the wind is slightly picking up here. There's a bit of velocity to contend with on your disc.
Laberge also taking this up for Strovsky-Boisvert.
Strovsky-Boisvert. It's almost a full new line.
You got after, they've probably been playing for like 8 minutes already.
Yeah, it's interesting how the Stello O-line came out and having to fight so hard for a completion, whereas the first half of this game seemed to have gone without a hitch.
But like you mentioned, strong defenders on this line. Jessie Brown, no slouch. Mel Dunbar played on the D-line of our senior women's team last year, so definitely having the pedigree to get this disc back. But let's see if Sash can march up the field.
Fortin covering the swing here, and she gets the tee.
So stall down called, but retracting it. I don't think that's actually how it should have happened, but Munz outside the end zone nonetheless.
If no one knows the rule, no one can contest it. Oh, tough here from Stello. They had it on the doorstep. Oof.
All right, you do have to give a round of applause to those handlers who are willing to pick it up on the coffin corner. Never an easy task.
I so agree. And then when you pick it up there and then you look and your stack is 30 feet behind, you're like, where are you guys?
Why are you making a deep cut right now? What's going on?
Help me.
They did get to center the disc here. However, a call. I think this is the point that they don't want to end.
Yep. They're having fun. It's hot in the sun.
All right, coming in on 3.
Roberge with the disc covered by Brown on the mark. Sash looking to get that break off. Man, trying to get a piece of that disc. Tries to get a D. Nice catch here by Roberge. 2 down with the drop, unfortunately.
Do you believe we're going to see
It's going to pick it up.
a timeout called soon, potentially? And yeah.
Y'all deserve it. Bring a dome or something. Poor girls.
All right. I think a few turns each side.
Yep.
You mentioned Saj wanting to work on some execution coming out of the half. Do you think you've seen enough?
Tough to say. They're working hard. I have to give it up to them, honestly. It is so hot out here. I find it warm, and I am sitting in the shade, not moving. So I am not running. I'm not on the field. I'm not in the sun.
You got the dogs out here, you know. The body's breathing.
Look at these players. They have ice on their heads.
Some of the kiddos also bringing out ice for them. We love to see put the kids to work.
I mean, there's enough of them amongst this whole team. I know that, was it a year ago or 2 years ago? We were 24 mothers and had 32 children.
Okay.
So
that's a lot.
Postpartum recovery. Shout out to pelvic floor physio.
All right. You heard it here first. Kim is going to hit the field in Nottingham next year.
Oh, I will. Oh, I will.
She will be there. I don't know if it's a secret, but I think Masters Worlds will be in Nottingham, United Kingdom.
Yeah, it was announced 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
Yep.
So that is bids on the line. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not sure how many bids we get, but I'm sure both of these teams will hope to be there.
It's a safe assumption. Fortin to pick up the disc. Beaulieu on the mark. Gets it to Jackie Mann. Brown fighting for position. Pick call downfield.
Yeah, you saw Roberge on the outside shoulder, but Brown doing whatever she needed to do to get to that open side.
Oh, she'll fight for position. That is no doubt. Graves puts it to Jackie Mann, who keeps her feet in.
And the observer calling her out of bounds there.
Stello, you're killing me here.
And yes, the observers making a couple active calls in and out of the end zone and in and out of bounds, and that's something you can't discuss. They don't want to hear it.
Argue with yourself.
All right, yet again, Strosky Boisvert picking it up. Less of a coffin corner here. The wind has died multiple times on this point. And the immediate
she's going to punt it. I don't disagree with that. Once again, tough to have a big group like that, but
Graves using her height to bring it down.
at this point, we've tried fighting off that sideline so many times that let's just try something different. Quigley to Dunbar. Another pick downfield. Those vert stacks, eh?
Yeah.
Those vert stacks are vert
And
stacks.
you mentioned trying something new. They've tried to work it under, maybe a little huck and pin here. Does your offense change as the point goes on longer, reaching its maybe 10th minute?
It becomes more fundamental, I'd say, but the sign of a good, I mean, it could be a handler, it could be a cutter, but someone who has experience on a team to make a call a play, something that they haven't seen, not just a standard vert cut from the back. If you're able to give directions to your players, it helps. And we finally get it done. All right, Stello.
Can you believe
9-4.
First point of the second half was exciting, to say the least.
How long do we think that was?
It's got to be 10 minutes.
Oof.
It's got to be, especially they had a timeout here. We had 2 injury subs.
Oh.
A couple out of bounds calls, couple dog piles.
Shout out to Stello and Sash on that one, honestly.
Yeah, Everyone who's on that line, take a long rest.
Y'all's are queens.
We don't need to see you for a couple more points.
Queens. We just came out of the mixed final. A shout out to what we just had earlier today. Big Cat taking on Cold, clinching the win and a spot at Worlds next year.
And a repeat from the last year final as well. Big Cat beating Cold, I think in Waterloo.
Yep.
2024.
Waterloo 2024.
So it looks like Big Cat's figured out the Cold.
Yeah, they figured out the Cold offensive strategy. And here, Sash and Stello, this is a rematch of the semifinals of the 2023 Canadian Championships in Kelowna, where we beat Sash in the semi. If I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure it was on Universe.
Oh.
For a spot in the finals versus Vance.
So yeah, the past two national champions here, Saj winning last year, a dominant 15-2 win over Sauer from Halifax. And fresh lines all around here.
Yeah, Vancourt, Pilon, haven't seen these players in a while.
And
just to be clear, it's not that we haven't seen these players because they are not talented, because number 21 here, Pilon, that we see quarterbacking this offense, has been a mainstay on the Quebec scene for, I'd say, a decade.
And I'm sure the people who were on last point might have wanted a bit more time off, but Saj O-line was wasting no time getting down the field.
That Saj O-line was textbook. It was simple. It was effective. They used the entire width of the field. Yeah, but there's not much to say here.
No, it's almost like you saw your teammates struggle a little bit last point, and you said, let me show you how it's done.
Oh my goodness, Mel Dunbar back on the field.
Oh, God bless them.
Yeah. Okay, Hogel, Muntz, Steph Graves back out, Jesse Brown back out. Yowza.
Yeah, was that 1 minute, 1.5 minutes enough?
Honestly, they had enough to go chalk, drink a tiny sip of water, put one ice cube on their back, and then walk back out. And this is where reputations are made, you know, like it's so tough. Like the conditions are really tough right now.
You can say it again. It's hot.
It's so hot. I've said the word hot 4,000 times, but it's difficult to explain to you guys how stifling it feels right now. And if you're able to rally in this situation and pull a win, just says a lot about you as a competitor.
All right, and a fresh Saj D-line. Yeah, line 5 here. A fresh Saj D-line getting the opportunity to test this Stello O and see how much legs they have at the end of the weekend.
Yeah, Massey with a huge pull. Hartley centers to Brown. Brown hoping this goes a lot faster than the last one. Graves around to Dunbar. Looks off Hartley. Looks off Lukenda. And decides to punt it to Brown.
And yeah, high stall count. Dunbar looking deep to someone you said, like you said, you'll see her in the backfield, you'll see her in the field, Brown ever on the field. Now, a travel being called out in Brown, however, she's trying to make the case that she was pushed forward, so she couldn't actually set up her pivot foot. And that's what the stoppage here is for. Just a lot of contact on the grab.
Why? I'm just confused why we're arguing about this, or like why we're having a discussion about this. Just bring it back to the line and keep, like, there's no score on the line. She hadn't released the disc, right?
Yeah, no.
Did I miss something? No.
No. Yeah, I also think, yeah, she was shoved forward. She wanted to play on. Honestly, I'll say it here. I've never made a good faith travel call in my life. A lot of them are really petty. There's not much of a difference to be made.
That is the realest thing I have ever heard. Honestly, travel calls, ooh. They are rough.
Who's looking at anyone's feet? Couple centimeters on the open side throw. What are we doing here?
Devon, make a t-shirt out of that. That was as real of a statement as you could have said.
All right, some dancing in the front here from Graves.
And we're going to try it, but that is deed by Massey.
All right.
Stello with their end zone. I have to.
Sash end zone stand. We'll see if they can work it all the way up the field, what the other line couldn't do.
Months here. Covering Landry. Landry, very strong hybrid out of Quebec. Foul call.
And a great
Amazing
grab.
catch by Plante. And Poirier gives and goes up line. That's looked off. Appears to be a call between Plante and Graves.
So I think a stall was called by Graves, but retracted.
Okay.
Now Sash gets the disc in the middle of the field. Perfect position. You've run a lot of drills like this, haven't you?
Lukenda on the mark against Massey. And Lemay is able to get on the open side. There's a pick call beforehand.
Whenever we get the reenacting, we need to wrap it up.
Well, that's a break chance. Stello O-line.
All right, so
time in the second half.
I think the pick is going to stand. So they're just going back.
To Lemay on the end zone line.
Violation being called whenever people start moving before the disc is tapped in. Always tough to communicate between the person who's tapping it in and the rest of the team.
Oh boy.
Okay.
I respect that throw. That worked out for her.
And you could see how high Plante was touching that hammer. And this is the first Sash break of the game.
Cheering like they should. That was good. I'm curious to know what Coach Reich is going to do in the situation. Do you put your O-line back out after those two grueling, well, the one grueling point plus that unsuccessful one? Oh no, we're going D-line here.
Yeah, it looks like the O-line, they had a long point. Then they just got broken. Give them a rest.
Yeah. I respect that.
It's great to have some not playing to make some sensible and tough decisions for the team.
Yeah. We're seeing Jacques, Redmond, Kubanek, Polowick, Mann, Fortin, and Green. Giving a rest to that O-line so they can recenter. Give a little chat.
And it looks like on the other field, you can't see it on the stream, but the open final is also getting started right now between AFC Carbon from Alberta and Dead Circuit. Oh, sorry, and Stills from Ottawa. Two teams also hoping to be in Nottingham next year.
The dads and the moms playing at the same time. And so we weren't kidding, folks at home. This is the reason if you start a final early, you're trying to get out of the worst part of the heat over the course of the day. Sam Green with the disc here, getting it to MC Jacques. Green makes it up line, back to Jacques. Man, uncovered. Around to Redmond. Back to Green. That backhand's coming out. Jacques with the hold, and that is 10-6 for Stello. That was crucial.
Yeah, exactly. If they had turned it there, given Sash a chance to break going downwind, that would have
100%.
But you know, the D-line showing the O-line how to do things.
And that goes to show the depth on both sides. Like we saw Sash pull out their second line that we hadn't seen in a bit last when they were on most recently. Same thing with Stello here. They pulled out what is their typical D-line. Both teams able to play all sides of this offensive or defensive scheme. Tracy Dyer we see on the line here. We haven't seen too much of her, but she is a leader in the stack. She has 10 goals for Sash. Definitely a huge, huge threat on offense. She is number 12 from Sash. Some ladies double shifting from the Stello perspective. So we see Green and Polowick double shifting.
And like you said, the depth of the team, able to play both sides of the disc, especially when the team needs it. Stello up 10-6. Saj looking to hold and keep this game close.
Cool with the disc. Cool, a player that's played both internationally and nationally. She lived in Switzerland for a bit, so played Team Switzerland.
Why not?
Why not?
And still, you see Saj very content to grind the unders. Not too many long balls here.
Yeah. I love the movement that we just saw from Ouellette here. Faking going backfield and then going upfield, allowing for just that, the easy upfield. It opens a lot of the field in this circumstance. Gets it to Arsenault, to Rancourt. Yeah, I find Rancourt is an incredibly consistent handler. And that's something that's often overlooked in a handler perspective. Something that is tough to do because it's a continual grind, something that you always have to be known for. You have to be a very high completion percentage. Constance is definitely known for that.
Yeah, I think when you're younger in juniors, most people, it's the best throwers that are the handlers. But once you're at this level, it's not about the throwing ability. A lot of people can throw. Can you make good decisions with the disc?
She's a very composed player. So we saw Birch here try to get a D, but it seemed to have slipped out of her hands. So Saj gets it on the line, close to the end zone. Bit of discussion. Unsure if that was a pick call.
Pretty long discussion here.
Yeah. Not sure what we're arguing, but we have a consensus.
Kim, you seem to be a no-nonsense player. You're like, why are we talking here?
Yeah, let's keep it moving. And a high release backhand, and they get it done.
And the energy after every Saj point, whether it's a hold or a break, the team's going to come together and embrace.
I love that. If that's just act like you just got this figured out. And we have 10-7. 10-7 for Stello. And we're putting our standard O-line. Are we?
Yeah, Hogel, Brown, Braves, Quigley.
Oh, I think it's because I saw Jessie Brown with her black hat as opposed to her blue visor.
You ever need an outfit change mid-game?
Yeah, she's like, she changed her cleat, changed her hat.
We saw it yesterday.
She's a new woman.
We saw it yesterday with Captain Beam on the roadkill side.
Yeah.
He said he just needed a new hat to play better.
You know what? Whatever you need. Athletes are so superstitious.
They're like, things are going wrong. Oh, it's because I was in the hat. Now I need to put on the bucket hat. Yes, yes. Everything's going to come together.
Who was it? Was it LeBron James? No. I think it's an athlete that puts like one shoe or one skate before the other.
Yeah, that's many of them.
Yeah? That's nuts.
You can't remember which cleat goes on first?
You think you're 25 years in this league?
No, yeah, call them out on it. I can't tell you which sock goes on first and which cleat goes on, just whichever way the wind blows that day. Big pull here. Very important O-line possession for Stello now.
And there's a call. Offside call?
Looks like offside. And is this their second offside of the game?
I think Stello
had
one, and now Saj has one.
And any infraction after that, they'll start getting the disc from half.
But it gets sloughing off the handlers here. The handler defenders appear to be playing with a bit of a heads-up D. A bit of sharing going on backfield from the Sash perspective.
Yeah, Sash really content to cut off the next pass rather than put the mark on as soon as they can.
And a big loopy backhand from Quigley. Brown is going to chuck it for Dunbar.
And unfortunately, the Sash defender down on the ground, I think she caught the end of that Brown backhand, Huck.
Is that Jenik? Oh, no, it's Beaulieu.
Dunbar did catch the disc, though, so I think the foul will be rescinded.
Injury sub.
Okay, so because the throw was completed, it looks like they're just going to play on from where Dunbar caught the disc.
Beaulieu in a Brown matchup is a strategic move on the Sash part. If you want to try and slow down someone who has the disc in their hands every other pass, Beaulieu's the person that can get that done. Incredibly gritty defender.
And another
goal.
Contested grab, but Stello with the goal.
And we hear the horn go. That's hard cap.
However, the point starts as soon as the last point ends, so they should play one more point unless both teams just opt. Okay, a yellow card being given after that.
To who? That looks to be to Sash.
To Sash. Sorry, what's your... Hartley caught the disc under a lot of contact, so whatever defender took her to the ground is getting a yellow card.
Okay. We couldn't really see from our vantage point. So at this point, 11-7. That means that Stello clinches the final spot. We just have to get this last point completed.
A point for pride, but Stello would love to win this on a break and keep their... So I guess the streak lives on. Stello yet to lose a domestic national masters tournament.
Yeah. You can add that to the bio. I know that Riche prides herself in adding all of our wins to that long list. She'll be happy to add that one there. But Sash definitely showing grittiness from the beginning all the way to the end. It's such a stacked team. There's so much talent on that Sash team.
Yeah, and two programs that make the commitment to being teams. They practice, they communicate. It's not like some pickup teams you may see in the mixed division. Or does Big Cat practice?
No.
No, Big Cat does not. Big Cat does not. They practice by playing tournaments.
That's why Anne plays on Big Cat. She refuses to practice. Pilon once again just quarterbacking every other pass. So effective. Landry looking upfield, gets it to Lemay. Delille. Shout out to Delille, who had a baby like a couple months ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, the baby that we saw at halftime, that was hers.
Yeah.
Foul call.
Foul call. There was a lot of contact as she went up. That Huck going up from Landry. Don't worry, you'll see more of those Hucks. She's going to be playing on the TC Masters mixed beach team in Portugal. She's everywhere, all over the national stage.
100%. She is not a stranger to Team Canada. She's played all over the divisions, all over the genders.
She did say at some point she's gonna start committing to being a GM player. She said she can't be in the Masters division for too much longer.
I see it. She is such an effective player. There are few people that can demolish a zone on offense as quick as Julandry can. And I think it's her candy. Put Julandry against his zone. Oh my goodness. Time of her life.
Eyes just light up.
Yeah, exactly. It's Christmas. It's Christmas all over. So we're going to the observers here.
And they're going to treat it as a contest. So this is going to go back to Landry. I guess Landry gets another chance at this backhand hook.
Yeah.
Or maybe he'll stir it.
If I'm Sash, I want to end that on a completion.
All right, coming in on 2.
Robert working hard here in the lane. Pilon looks off Landry. Potter's working extremely hard to get open, but they seem to be defended under.
Just a miscommunication by LeMay and Pilon in the backfield. And Stello looking to strike right away. Polwick rushing to the deep space.
Redmond seems to have underestimated the wind a bit. She needed to let that float a little bit more.
Ing putting in a great effort there, even going to ground, trying to. That would be a great way to end the game.
Yeah.
And an injury call. Fortin subbing in. And it looks like Strosky Boisvert also. No, he's not coming up.
This is a bit of a tougher corner that Sash is going to have to get themselves out of here. We see the wind. It's pushing crossfield from the top to the bottom of your screens. You're in a corner. You're tied into a little less space. And so if there's any way to come through it, I definitely recommend trying to get to the high side of the field. So for viewers at home, that would be the top part of your screen. And Strosky Boisvert to pick up.
Pilon.
Pilon to Robert. I'm curious to know why they're forcing back in. I feel like a flick force in this situation, especially with the wind that we have now, would force them to have to work it against.
But I guess they want to make those around throws drop just like that happened. Still getting another chance to get a break for the national championship.
Maybe I'll get lectured by Coach Reish. See, that one was a throw into the wind.
Yes.
And so the wind making it a tad bit more difficult right now. Robert.
Just a pick being called.
Pick called with Landry and Fortin.
And you can see how much both of these teams carry. Yes, it's the last point. Yes, it doesn't have the most impact on what's going to happen with the result, but both teams want it badly, and they're getting their reps in.
Yep. Strosky Boisvert out to Pilon, right on the line. And Sash closes it in.
And that's Bois coming back from injury. 11-8 is the final score of our nationals. You have both teams celebrating. Sash celebrating scoring the last point, but Stello celebrating their 3rd or 4th Masters National Championship.
Good question. 2023. We also won 2022, I believe. This would be 3rd.
Okay, so 3rd.
I have to check the
IG, but congratulations to Stello nonetheless. And you see Reish right in the middle, getting her footage for the reels. I can't wait to see what reel drops after this win.
That's true. There's been some pretty legendary TikToks or reels after 3 times national champ. Oh, I stand corrected.
2021.
This is our 4th.
All right. So congratulations on 4th. Congratulations to both teams here. Hope to see you at Worlds, making Canada proud and maybe taking home a world medal. Your game against Reboot Squad was one to remember.
Was eh? The girls worked so hard that year. Well, we would like to thank all the viewers at home. My name is Kimberly Maricoulombe.
I'm Devon Esamoda.
Thank you so much for joining. Stay tuned to Ultimate Canada YouTube channel. Like and subscribe for some YouTube content. Thank you.